I've been in the recruitment space for 20 plus years now, both from a recruitment angle across a whole range of industries. SRCONF Consulting started 8 years ago to provide a niche to the market sector, and then social came along about 5 years ago and started consulting with companies, both recruitment companies and corporates, a whole around recruitment strategy, process, online and social recruiting. In the last 3 or 4 years, the whole passion has been around social. People want to know about social, how they can do it, how can they do it effectively, who's doing what, who's doing it better than anyone else.
All right, so your work, of course, is UK, but also covers Europe. It's not just localized companies?
No, not at all. We've done work in Sweden, Holland, Spain, Germany, Belgium, early this year.
And now you're going to France.
And now we're going to the Eiffel Tower.
That's fantastic. So, we got the conference coming. You've been a part of and have been to the 2 events we've done in London, where we think there are some companies that really do seem to get social. There are other people just starting on the journey. What do you think might be there when we get to Paris?
Absolutely have no idea. I was looking at some stats earlier today coming up on the train, and the adoption, the awareness is there in Western Europe, so in France and Belgium, Germany, but the actual participation in the social networks is a lot lower. So if the stats are right, about 60% participation, it was what we would expect, predominantly Facebook, with a little bit of LinkedIn and Twitter along the side, but it's predominantly a Facebook environment.
So what I found interesting in speaking with Colin earlier about Friadio, who is, of course, one of the sponsors of SRCONF and who's sponsoring this discussion group we're having here tonight, is that they're the second largest network in the professional business network behind the proverbial LI, and that they're also very big in countries like India and China, as well as in sort of the French, Spanish, Italian marketplace, which for me was quite a surprise. Were you aware of their reach?
Not at all, no. But it doesn't surprise me. You've got South America, Brazil, India, China. You've got the huge populations that are just exploding, and they just want, or they seem to want, social networking coming out of their ears. And Facebook have taken control, and every other social network out there are doing the same thing. They're getting very, very busy. So it doesn't surprise me.
So when we get to Paris, and we're going to talk about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Viadio as channels that people might use in social, are you going to give us a little bit of examples of, back to almost basics on the how should I do this, through to some examples of what people are doing today that is successful?
Absolutely. From a point of view of, because I think we're going to have quite a few people that are base level, people that are going to come along that are trying to get started. And I think there's a big population in the corporate world that have realised that social is not going away. It's here, it's now, but how the hell do we get started? So we need to show them this is how you get started, this is best practice, and also take that stage further. This is how other companies have had their experiences, this is how they've done it, this is the mistakes they've made, some of the things they've done well. So it's a question of use their experiences to learn going forward and getting the best of both worlds.
Well, I think you're right. I think it's going to be interesting, the roundtable that we're having here that Viadio is hosting is part of their overall structure to decide what their content might be at the event, where we've got people from a couple end users, we've got a couple recruiters, we've got people from the marketing side, you and I who, people think we know what we're talking about because we keep telling them we do. I think it's going to be an interesting mix even today to see what might come out of that.
Absolutely. Just having a conversation before we get started, it's already some very differing opinions of how it's used, but the main thing, the flavour so far is just basically it's here, we need to be using it, but how do we use it? Is it internal comms tool? Is it an external marketing? Is it external employer brand, or do we use it as a pure sourcing tool? So it's a question of taking whatever you can get out of social and making it work for your company.
So should we even start the debate about social and media not actually being a real phrase, or we might leave that one alone?
I think we'll go that later on, shall we?
Yeah, okay.
Go for the glass of wine on that one, I think.
All right. So Andy, anything that you're hoping to get yourself out of being in Paris at the event? Any lessons you hope you might learn from the delegates themselves and the other speakers?
The same as every time when I go abroad to different countries. To embrace myself with the different countries, to understand how they're using it, what they're doing. I mean, I'm learning all the time. Went to Sweden earlier in the year. They're doing social in a completely different way. The Dutch do it in a different way. So to learn how they are doing it and how social media, as you say, is different words, is manifesting itself in the recruitment space is always a learning curve for me.
All right, well, I know we're looking forward to having you participate and lead the sessions you're going to lead, and probably on the day you'll end up doing a lot more than you thought you were because it's a very social event. And how can people actually find Andy and SRCONF Consulting?
Okay, we've got www.srcoconf.com. my blog, which is SRCONF.com, and me on Twitter at Andy Headworth. Nice and easy.
See, we can't get away from you and finding you in social. Well, Andy, we're looking forward to SRCONF 2011 in Paris on the 1st of December and the impact that you're going to have on the event, and also hopefully enjoying a drink or two during the discussions tonight.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alan.